My name is Anthony Smith.
Usually when we think about converging, you're coming upon something, which is pretty typical of Western people, right? We like certainty. And usually when you converge upon something, you know what you're converging upon, as opposed to, I would say, emergence, which tends to be very open-ended, more like jazz, kind of improvisational, kind of don't know where we're gonna land. Hopefully we'll land on love, right? So I haven't really given much thought about the difference between emergence and convergence, but just hearing the word convergence seems pretty settled to me. You know where you're headed to. For me, when I think about emergence, I think about John Coltrane standing up with his saxophone, playing some Love Supreme, right? You don't know where he's going to take that thing. And so maybe convergence, I understand the sentiment, that we're converging as all these different voices are coming together upon something, right? So maybe there's a place for that. But emergence tends to be very more open-ended. Because I'm just an emergent kind of guy, right? I'm Pentecostal, man. You don't know what's going to happen on Sunday morning at my church. I'm glad we're talking about this. Because here's my thing about words. If we could spare the word Jesus from bad people or bad ideas, the stuff we make up, how do you think we're going to say that, right? I mean, you could even say Jesus. You get caught out about all kind of stuff. Nazism, genocide, slavery, extinction of Native Americans in the name of Jesus, manifest destiny, Christianity. Humans take words and they corrupt them. And see, Christians were good for this, though. We ought to take something bad and flip it, right? Like Christians took the gospel and said, okay, there's this term the Romans use, they use as a message of peace and salvation for the world. Burning villages, oppression, patrimony, destruction of civilization, subjugation, economic oppression. That's good news in the ancient world. So Christians took a really bad word and they flipped it and they make it a good word. So Christians today, they get all, high strung about, we come up with good words and then we worry about them becoming bad words, right? How about we take some really bad words and flip them, make them good words? Democracy, capitalism, empire, Christian nation. Man, there's so many bad words we can flip. Christianity is a bad word. Let's flip it. Let's reclaim Christianity. Let's call it Christianity again. But we give it new content, new expression. That's why I still call myself Pentecostal. Pentecostal ain't all bad. But there's some crazy stuff that happens in Pentecostal churches. I can say that. We can infuse some different stuff in that story. That people get all upset about missional, watering it down. You can't say Jesus. What makes you think you're going to say missional? Right? I don't think it's the words. I think it's the way that we represent the words. Shane Claiborne comes along and says things like Jesus for president. He uses very evangelical terminology, right? But yeah, he's captured the imagination of a lot of young people, both inside and outside the church. I think it's about how you rep the words. One of my favorite post-colonial writers, considered the father of post-colonialism, Franz Fanon. He says, language assumes a civilization. So behind every language is a way that humans organize themselves and do life and have ideas and things like that. So language literally creates worlds, or it represents, not only does language create a world, right? But language or words actually represent a world that already exists. So the question is then, how about we just create a whole new world? Christians did it. Gospel, Jesus is the Lord. They used language that was pretty familiar in our culture that represents some really bad stuff. But they weren't thinking, man, I don't know, man, this is might be bad PR. We said Jesus is Lord. So the question is, what kind of Lord? I think Brown was onto something when he had the whole thing about a new kind of Christianity, right? New kind of Christianity. I'm not one of the ones that get into the whole argument about the purity of words, trying to maintain some kind of, purity about this or that word, missional, emergent, whatever. My thing is, what does it represent? Does it represent a way of life, a way of love, a A love for God, love for neighbor, right? I don't care what you call it. We call that Barney. We can call that whatever. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with the soda on the side. With the soda on. You don't know about that, man. So that's called Christianity peanut butter jelly, man. And it represents a whole new way of life. A life of love for your neighbor and for God. And I know people say language is tied to a tradition, it's rooted in a culture, and a history, and a legacy. Yeah, I'm not saying actually we name it peanut butter jelly, but you get my point. You can have a conniption about all these fundamentals now using the word mission. I'm like, oh my God, not them. They can't use that word. Man, they use Jesus. I'd be more upset about that than the word missional. I'd be like, you can't use Jesus? Okay, friends, here we go. Are you with me? Let's rename Christianity peanut butter jelly. Just kidding. But seriously though, we get upset about words, and I get that, right? Because we really have our hearts in something that we really truly believe is life-giving, that we believe that will change the world, that is embodied or expressed small acts of kindness, represent the gospel, right? Love God, love neighbor, and love yourself, right? That's the essence of this thing. So my thing is, rather than be too obsessed and about to have a dadgum conniption fit on words like emergence or missional, emergent versus a missional, whatever, how about we attend to the worlds, the ways of striving, the ways of embodying, the ways of living that these words are supposed to represent. I don't really care about so much as the word itself, the symbol, the syntax, as I'm more concerned about the kind of life that's being embodied, that's represented by the word. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us. I'm more interested in that. How about you? Are you more interested in just the syntax, the symbol of the word, or are you more interested in how that word becomes flesh in your neighborhood, in your life?